Correct.
Welcome to our show. And Frannie and Myron are here today to discuss the latest incident, racial incident that happened to Frannie while shopping a couple of weeks ago at H&M Department store.
Yes.
Well, you are the victim of sexual or anti-Asian harassment.
Yes, it's true.
You were ridiculed while you were shopping at H&M store.
On the Magnificent Mile.
H&M Department store and Magnificent Mile, which means to say that it is a very decent and first-class store because it's a magnificent mile. So, Frannie, maybe you can tell our viewing audience what really happened on the day you were shopping a couple of weeks ago.
Sure. I happened to go to the H&M Department store on Michigan Avenue on my lunch break. I walked into the first floor. I was just looking at some clothing that I thought was cute, that I might have purchased. And one of the employees standing next to me, I heard him start saying, "Mail order bride in the house." And I looked to see who he was talking about. He was talking about me. I was the only Asian person around. The only person standing next to me was a security guard, happens to be black. And he was a couple racks away from me. He then went to go tell his employee. They both started laughing. I was really upset because as an Asian woman, as a Filipino woman, this shouldn't happen to anyone going to a public place. So what I decided to do is I grabbed my clothes and I wanted to walk up to him to see what his name was. I wanted to report this guy. And unfortunately, I couldn't get his name. And so when I asked him if I could try on some clothing, he kind of questioned if I can understand English by saying, "Can't you read the sign? It says fitting room," like I couldn't read English. And then it just kept going on and on. It just wouldn't stop. I was so upset. As I was walking away, he then started saying like ching ching chong, kind of like thinking I speak some kind of Asian language like that. Which so I ran into the fitting room because I didn't know what to do, and I asked the gentleman putting the clothes away if he can get a manager for me because I didn't feel comfortable going back on the floor. This guy was just continually harassing me. So he finally brought the manager in, and I told the manager my story, and the manager just looked at me and was like, "Okay, I'll talk to him later today." And I said, "That's it? You're not going to write anything down? You don't even have any of my information?" I asked him for his business card. He didn't give me, he wrote his information down on a piece of paper, and he told me to call him back next week because he was going to be going out of town. I was so frustrated because there were going to be other Asian women walking in there, and if this happened to a black woman or a white woman or a Hispanic woman, I just feel that that guy would have been terminated on the spot. So what ended up happening was I left. I ended up coming back trying to get his name because I wanted to write a written report, and the second manager basically told me the same thing, that the first manager was correct. He should, the individual named would get a verbal writing and then get a written report. And I said, "A verbal? So you're going to give him permission to do this again? This is crazy." So anyway, he just told me to write out a letter to the general manager, and that was that, and they apologized. But, you know, Veronica, it's probably still working there. And I didn't know what to do. So I asked all my friends and family to write to the manager, write to corporate. Basically, I got Myron's information through, there was an incident regarding a poor Vietnamese man recently that got pushed into Montrose for drowning.
Yes.
The American Asian Institute was at that vigil. I contacted them. I had no direction to go as an Asian woman. You know, I just want everyone to know this is what you do. This is not right. You can contact the Asian American Institute. They can help direct you. No one should go through any of that kind of racial abuse
What I can say, Frannie, is that you're a very articulate person. Were you born here?
Yes, I was born in Chicago, born and raised in Chicago.
Born and raised in Chicago.
I'm a nurse at Northwestern Hospital. I'm retired staff sergeant from the Air Force Reserves. You know, this is very disturbing that this individual in a metropolitan area is doing this.
Very good background. I really cannot understand why he would think that you're a mail order bride.
I wasn't wearing a veil, I don't know.
So, well, it's just that he just, I guess, that was the day he wanted to be mean to somebody. So, what you did was go to AAI, or Asian American Institute.
Yes, I did.
And, by the way, what do you think triggered all this?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I know I'm not naive. I know we don't live in a fairy tale land that racism doesn't exist. However, it's 2007. It does still exist, but I don't know where this guy came from or what he believes, but
He's a white guy?
Yes, he was a white gentleman.
White gentleman.